A lot of players have been asking, what's the meta? When should I be going for a soul break? I've seen this question in a lot of different forums, Reddits, Twitter, etc. So I figured I should take this video to break down just the different fighting styles you can use and when you should be going for soul break or just deciding to break their Kompaku. Now, what you're going to want to understand is what is your winning condition? What's your win condition? That can vary depending on the match or how the match is going, but check this out. Characters like Renji will need to take Kompaku as fast as possible, often going for 2 instead of 3 at soul break. So once they get to 30%, as we know, or do a guard break, or just catch them slipping when they're not guarding, or of course getting them down to soul break, all of these can break your Kompaku. But instead of going for a soul break and doing the maximum, with Renji you might just want to go for the 2 instead of 3. Since at base he can go up to 3, you could just remove the 2, do that one more time, and then when he's in Bankai, you go for a soul break. When you're with Renji, the winning condition is breaking the Kompaku twice, and then on the third one, making sure you hit a soul break. That is, in short, how you ensure that you get that win. Now with each character, that winning condition may vary, but that's a general summation of what you should be expecting. You got to figure out how you're going to get the win. So to figure this out, if you find yourself in a match where you still have 9 Kompaku, you can take 2 to 3 stocks of Kompaku. Go ahead and take the stock. However, keep in mind this will be more so the offensive strategy. You'll need to take away some more health after you take away their first Kompaku, whether through soul destruction or through soul break. Keep in mind you don't need to go for soul break in these circumstances for the most part. You'll be doing, in most cases, 2, 2, and then 5, depending on the circumstance. You could also find yourself doing 2, 3, and 4 depending on when you choose to awaken, since that will also add up to 9 Kompaku. Keep in mind that with this strategy, you will ultimately be more offensive and you'll need to take away 3 soul destructions or even soul breaks if you choose to go that far. But just keep in mind that you don't need to go through 3 soul breaks if you are playing this offensively. Additionally, you'll want to keep in mind that since you are doing this, their fighting gauge may increase. So you'll want to keep that in mind for certain characters if you're helping them evolve further, and that might be part of their game plan. Almost anybody can be offensive, but it's just going to depend on your character on, do I really want to take 3 stocks or am I going to do an even trade? Because if you're evenly matched and find yourself where you're both low, you're about to get your Kompaku destroyed, you're close to evolution, you may want to choose to destroy the Kompaku, but first evolve. A lot of characters you'll be able to take 4 stocks at evolution, and so you'll want to do what I call an even trade. With this, you'll basically be trading blows. You'll want to be conscious of the fact that you're not going to overwhelm them, so it's probably better to take 4 stocks and then 5, unless you're someone like Ichigo or Aizen where you have a revive, so therefore you only have 8 stocks. In most cases, most of the characters will do about 4 Kompaku worth of damage after evolution, where they'll be able to destroy 6 Kompaku under the right circumstances. So you'll want to be careful. For that reason, you'll want to evolve before destroying the first Kompaku. Then, once you've done that, you'll want to make sure you're in sublimation first before you destroy their next Kompaku and do that soul break. Essentially, in this strategy, you'll be going for 2 soul breaks each time. The challenge with this is that your enemy can power up, heal, or use abilities to restore health, making a soul break challenging in certain matchups. Try to make sure you're not making mistakes or being too aggressive if you're evenly matched, as you can overextend yourself and then not find yourself securing the victory. You have to have a path of success. Sometimes you may want to clutch it, but it's better if you have a handy combo that you can use. Find yourself a good combo that you like, that you know, hey, in this situation, I can clutch it up with this technique. It's a series of combos that you have, maybe finish it off with the spiritual pressure technique. Whatever it is, you have to find yourself something that you know, hey, because if not, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're just whiffing and trying to do as much damage, but if you have a game plan, it makes it that much easier to get those wins. If you're finding yourself a little bit outmatched, or you're just savoring the fight like a true Kenpachi, then you may want to change your fighting style and your approach. Provided you're not sandbagging, if you find yourself in a situation where you might be out-teched, you'll want to have a technique in your back pocket for one, but ultimately you may want to hold out for sublimation before destroying their Kenpaku. Kira, for example, can take a beating the entire match and in 20 seconds deplete your Kenpaku into nothing because of his unique gimmick. For some players, it's a long game strategy and you can't relax or lower your guard just because you're winning. If the opponent has the right resources, they can still come up. In most cases, in sublimation, you'll be doing 5 Kenpaku damage, but in some cases you'll be doing 6 like Soifon, Kenpachi, and Ikaku, for example. Also, Spirit Drive will allow the character to do more damage and take less damage, so make sure you take advantage of Spirit Drive if you find yourself in that situation. The only characters that don't have Spirit Drive are Bankai Ichigo, Aizen, Uryu, and Ukiyoda, since they have special abilities in their reawakening, so it balances itself out. If you find yourself needing the comeback strategy, make sure that you're in sublimation if you can before you break their Kenpaku. That way, you can take 5 or 6, and then in the following one, you'll only need to get to 30% and then just destroy their soul. That way, you come back and you're not having to do 2 soul breaks, almost like an even trade. In some cases, you'll find yourself that time is too short to finish the match. The match may come down to who has the most Kenpaku, who dealt the most damage. If the time runs out, it will say it's game even if you're in the middle of a soul break. So use your time wisely. Timeouts aren't the funnest way to end the match, so really, they should only be happening when you're evenly matched or it's hard to kill one another with the time allotted. Rarely should you be stalling, but let's be honest, there's 20 seconds on the clock and I can't do enough damage to just shatter your Reishi. I'm probably going to play defensively and win via timeout rather than take the loss and risk it just to try to sneak in a little bit of damage to extend the match to the last second. Sometimes game is game, and so, if it's timeout, it's GG's. There are special cases, of course, like Dangai Ichigo, where you absolutely need to do 3 Kenpaku distraction no matter what, and that will be game. There's no revivals there. Ultimately, though, it's a matter of the matchup and seeing what your options are with the time you have, the abilities of your character, the matchup of your opponent, and what you can do in the battle and what you end up deciding. In many cases, you'll be killing your enemy's health 2 to 3 times, but in many cases, it can't even be 4 if you get too much of a lead. So it's not that winning is a bad thing, it's just that it's not going to reward you in the way that most fights would. Your reward for winning excessively is you have to kill them a little bit more. I hope this has helped in figuring out when to do a soul break. This has been your boy Saint Irving. Help break the algorithm by like, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
I am justice incarnate.